Um, speaking of speaking of Canelo, there are talks that he could be fighting Charlo. The Badu Jack thing. I know he's a good friend, so sometimes it's a little bit. It might be a little hard to maybe criticize somebody or something like that. But do you think Canelo is somewhat taking the easy route, only when you look at it from the standpoint of Charlo hadn't fought in over 2 years. The Badu Jack fight, Badu Jack came out and said that Canelo wanted to fight him at cruiserweight, but at 180 pounds and have a rehydration clause. So how do you kind of look at that?
Well, firstly, let's look at the two. Let's look at the Badu Jack fight. You can't criticise Canelo, who's a 168 pounder, for wanting to cap out weight at 180, when he fights at 175, he can hardly get there. Do you know what I mean? Like, he can't really weigh more than 180, having done a full camp. So he's going to go in the ring at 180 or 185. And otherwise, if you don't cap that, Badu Jack's going to go in the ring at 210. You're giving away 25, 30 pounds in the ring. Like, I don't feel like he should just, like, a lot of people said he made a mistake going to 75 to fight Bivol. If he keeps making mistakes like going up to cruiserweight, it could affect his legacy. He doesn't want to lose to a fighter like Badu Jack. With all due respect to Badu Jack, he's not of the same level as Canelo Alvarez. But he makes it at the same level when you start making 190 or 195. Like, it's ridiculous. So I don't feel like he should be criticised for that. Secondly, Jamel Charlo. I mean, a lot of people will call him.
Well, actually, let me pause you on that, because I remember, to kind of push back on that statement, that I think it was last year or maybe the year before, when I think Canelo told you that, get me that Usyk fight at 201. So now
that's
it's
for the world heavyweight title.
Fair
So
enough.
201 would be the smallest weight. So, but at the end of the day as well, like, you have to negotiate your position. You have to represent and defend your fighter. So you have to do what you feel is best for your fighter. If you ask Canelo, I don't think he'd give a shit what the rehydration clause was. But Eddie Reynoso's doing his job, and it becomes a point where, like, he's a super middleweight fighting for the cruiserweight world title. Like, it's not really normal. When you flip to Charlo, a lot of people call him for that fight for a long time. I don't feel it would be competitive at the moment because of Charlo's layoff. I saw him on an Instagram live the other day. He don't look like he's ready to fight in September. Do you know what I mean? But he's still a quality fighter. He's still a brilliant fighter. But I don't know what more you got to do to, like, it's not like he's just going out and like, if he fought Berlanga pre-Quigley, which he could do, by the way, and make $25-30 million. Okay, but he's not. He's fighting, real guys who are proven, and we believe Berlanga's going to prove himself. But you have to do that over time.
So which fight makes the most sense right now for Canelo?
Probably a Berlanga. No, but I think there's so many options. Like, I think the Badu Jack fight is compelling. I think the Charlo fight is reasonably compelling. Of course, the Bivol fight is the one he wanted, but we couldn't get a deal done there. I quite like Jaime Munguia. I think that's a good fight. The Benavidez, but that's all a bit weird with the Morel stuff. Like, I don't know.
Well, when you say that, because you just said, like, what more do people want from Canelo? And Badu Jack is a very respectable guy, 3-division champ. Charlo's a great fighter, long layoff. But doesn't really matter who Canelo fights. Everybody wants to see Benavidez.
Yeah, but Canelo would fight Benavidez at the drop of a hat. But it's a big fight. The money's got to be right. Like, you can't just expect him. I mean, I've seen the backwards and forwards with Sampson, and apparently there wasn't this offer and there was this offer. I don't really know because I wasn't involved with it. But I know if I'm paying the purses for Canelo Alvarez against Benavidez, I'm paying a lot more money than the numbers that were discussed. Because I paid him a lot more money for Gennady Golovkin. And the Benavidez fight is a big fight.
More than, because David Benavidez actually came out and said that the offer was about $45 million.
Not enough money. Nowhere near enough money. Like,
nowhere near?
That's not my decision.
Okay.
I'm just telling you that if I was paying the price for that fight, it would be more than that. So it's not up to me what Saul takes and what doesn't take. He's his own boss. I work for him. But if that does not sound like a lot of money in terms of what I know he's been getting paid for fights, for the size of that fight. But Saul is fearless. Saul would fight David Benavidez tomorrow. Trust me. But the business has got to be right. And, it's just, they don't want to, Benavidez should be coming to me. And Sampson should be coming to me saying, what would you pay for that fight? And I guarantee it's more than what PBC would pay for that fight. But they don't want that to happen because they want to protect the position of the PBC and they want to make sure they can get the fight on their platform. I understand, but it's politics. Look at how well Ryan Garcia did against Gervonta Davis when DAZN and Showtime both had that fight on various different platforms. So, who knows? But for me, Benavidez, Canelo, massive fight. But the numbers you said, nowhere near enough money.
Okay, Eddie. Thanks, I appreciate it.
No worries.
Well, okay, I'm still going.
All right.
Cool. Okay, you're saying the numbers aren't nowhere near it.
But by the way, that's
Yeah, no, that's
I'm
your
not
view,
talking
yeah.
on behalf of Canelo Alvarez. I'm talking about me knowing the industry, knowing the size of the fight.
When you look at, I guess, let's just cut the numbers out, so to speak. Do you view Benavidez as probably the the biggest threat to Canelo?
At super middleweight, maybe. I mean, I'm trying to think who else might be another threat, but maybe. I mean, I say he's unproven. He beat Caleb Plum. You know, he did it on points. That was a good win. I rate Benavidez. I think he's a very good fighter.
Is the Bivol fight dead in the water officially?
For September, probably. Probably.